things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. So during the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts. But they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. So roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. And I have my doubts. So I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. I'm going to do my best tonight. I don't have a topic in particular. About the most that I can tell people to do is just keep prepping. Any way you can, do whatever you can. Keep prepping. Because I guarantee you this train is coming down the track. I personally am literally staring right at it. I see it. And it's not far away. A part of it has to do with what happens tomorrow. But believe it or not, as I've been saying, it's the smallest part. I know it may not seem that way to a lot of people, but it is truly the smallest part. You do everything you can to get ready. I spent some of today getting some of the security things done. I'm waiting on other stuff to come in, and it's I would tell people to get ready. I would tell you to network. I would tell you to go through those people that are already in your network and go through them with a fine-tooth comb. And I mean that. I mean that. You know, whatever is important to you needs to remain important to you. The number one important thing to me is Father Yah. And, you know, those people that don't want to be respectful of him, they're not going to be in my network. Plain and simple. I work for him. Him only. I work for myself in a worldly sense, but in a much larger sense, the reason I work for myself, the reason I even exist, is for him. And if you have convictions like that, you need to address that in your networks. Because otherwise, you're going to wind up with a disaster. I don't know what to tell people. But I know that there are things in my network that are definites, and that's Father Yah, and that's the Constitution. There won't be no socialism in my networks. Not for a second. Not for a second. Those that need help will be helped. That's not even a question. Not even a question. But those that are able-bodied will work. Period. But they get what they work for. I do not believe in socialism of any kind, and I do see that a lot in prepper groups, and that's why I bring it up. I see it a lot. Believe it or not, I see it a lot. But you have to find where your convictions are, and you have to strive towards those. You have to continue to keep prepping. But it's a good time, like yesterday, to go through those networks again with a fine-tooth comb. One of the frustrating things for me when I see Facebook groups and forums and stuff like that is everybody treats this like it's a game, a hobby. Not everybody, but more than not, much more than not, treat it like a hobby. I said something the other day in the DD12 Facebook group and got all kinds of people in a tizzy, like I give a damn. I'll tell you what, I am at the point in my life, seriously, I'm so close to just fuck all. But in this group, I had mentioned that people want to be careful about following verbatim what is in these books. And let me explain this. There is a very, very, very small handful. And when I say small handful, I mean you could barely get your couple of fingers around the amount of really good authors when it comes to the apocalyptic type of novels. I mean, there's just a very small... Most of it is so far-fetched, and most of it takes you directions that are completely unimportant, and it focuses on those directions. Like, for instance, relationships, romance. Okay? Hey, if you want to throw a little bit of romance in a apocalyptic novel, it's a given. It truly is a given. But a little bit. A little bit. And you get some of these writers out there that most of the book is really just nothing but a romance novel based around an apocalyptic event. Now, somebody that reads books like that are going to take things from books like that, the wrong things. But let me make this very clear. There is not one author that I could tell you to read that would give you a snapshot. Not one. And I've said it before many times, and I tried explaining this to those people in this group, and they just refuse to grasp it. But you don't have, you're not going to have that surprise Special Forces commander show up with his team to help you out. You're not going to have that Connex box dropped off full of supplies for you because you made a radio call. Not going to happen. And there ain't a single, not even in Angry Americans books. Not even in Angry Americans books can you escape that. Yeah, that's how serious I am about this. There is not a single author that has wrote a novel to true realism. Not one. Not even close. But there are a couple that give you enough valuable information in those books that they're worth reading. And I said one, Angry American. Franklin Horton's another one. Another one right off the top of my head is William Fortune, the 1 Second After trilogy. It is a trilogy. There are 3 books. You always hear about the first 2. There you hear about the third. But there is 3 books. 1 Second After, 1 Year After, and I believe The Final Day is the name of the last one. Or The Last Day, something like that. I can't remember. I guess I reckon I ought to find it real quick so I don't misdirect you guys. William 4. I don't want to... Yeah, The Final Day. Here it is. So 1 Second After, 1 Year After, and The Final Day. So those are the 3. So I no longer have Kindle. We got rid of, Kindle Unlimited, we got rid of that. We just we weren't using it. I mean, why sit there and keep forking out $10 a month for something you really don't use? And, I'll just say this. I've got such a bad taste in my mouth for one of the authors that I mentioned at this particular time that I have no interest in reading any of his books. Why? Well, because when you purposely misguide and mislead people for personal gain, I've got an issue with that. He's been doing a whole lot of that. And I've got an issue with it. But like I said, do your best to put that chin up and keep pushing forward, keep prepping, do what you can. You're going to have setbacks. I mean, it's going to happen. Oh. Wait a minute. What? Oh, oh, so I don't, so you don't read it? Well, there's only 3 authors that I'll stand behind. Okay, and those authors are Angry American. Okay, and I'll just be honest with you. He's the one right now. Yeah, I don't care if he writes a gold mine. He can keep it. He can keep it. Until he comes back down to earth, he can keep it. William Fortune, his trilogy is incredible. Incredible. The 1 Second After trilogy is, that's where I started. That's a good place to start. The 1 Second After trilogy from William Fortune. It's a real good place to start. But then there's Franklin Horton, and he's got several series. My 2 favorites are Locker 9 and The Borrowed World. Why are they my favorites? Well, The Borrowed World is among my favorites because of how real it is and how helpful it is. The Locker 9 series, which unfortunately I don't believe he has any intent on continuing any further, and the story kind of, in a sense, came to a close after the last book anyway. It's super good for ideas, especially if you have children. Especially if you have a child in college that's off a way to college. Locker 9. And Locker 9, by the way, is also a good series if you've got a teenager that you want to, start getting excited about prepping or thinking about prepping. Locker 9 from Franklin Horton is the way to go, because it involves a teenage girl that's off to college, and an event happens while she's off to college, and she's got to make it home. And fortunately, her dad's a prepper, and nearby her college, her college wasn't just, the next town over from her home. It was states and states and states away. And so he'd rented a storage locker, a storage shed, or you know what I mean, just a little storage unit. He had rented a storage unit and put in a bunch of stuff for her. Everything from firearms to food, fuel, everything she would need to get back home. And I would say that if you are in a situation to where you may ever possibly have to retrieve or go to, I would say, people being able to get to you, man, Locker 9's the way to go, because Franklin really did a good job of laying out how he set up that storage shed, that storage unit. And he did such a great job. The 1 Second After, to avoid, there's a lot of horrible ones. It would actually, I would have to just sit there and name authors. And instead of telling you who to avoid, I would rather tell you who to read. And just because of my personal beef don't let that stop you from reading good information. And again, those three authors are Angry American, Franklin Horton, and William Fortune. Those three authors did a really, really good job of detailing out different things you need, different ways of using those things you need, but please understand, out of those three authors, the one that's most realistic from head to toe, William Fortune. William Fortune. The one that's most realistic from head to toe would be William Fortune. And that's why I said it would probably be a good place to actually start. Because you want that hard truth. Believe me, you want that hard truth. Okay? If things go south, and I believe they're going to go south, and I'm not saying necessarily tomorrow or anything like that, but I see things going south, very south. And you better have the supplies to be able to support and defend yourself. Because if you can't defend yourself, you don't have any chance of keeping the supplies, now do you? So it's kind of all for naught. You really have to put a lot of focus on this stuff, and quick, if you haven't already. That's why I'm doing everything I can. I'm trying to sew up as many loose ends as I can. I upgraded our camera system. I got part of the upgrade in today, which is a major upgrade. And then I guess if I get the other stuff in tomorrow, I guess hopefully maybe I'll get the rest of the camera system update done tomorrow. But door locks. We're renting. We still just went out and got new deadbolts and new entry knobs, whatever you want to call them. We just replaced them. Oh, why? No, because I want something high security. As I was telling Jen earlier, the longer that I can, stall them, the better. Because the more I can get set up to mount my defense in the time it takes them to breach that threshold, the better. And you're talking about a situation where seconds count. So you have to be able to... Pardon? Hang on. Don't know where that came from. Sorry about that. So you have to be in a position, you have to stall them enough to be able to put yourself in a position to where you can fight back. And you have to be able to do so as quickly as possible. And then, you've got so many variables there. How many people are there? What kind of weapons do they have? How many different ways are they coming in? You've got, now is the time that you have to go through all this stuff and get this stuff worked out. You can't wait when it comes to this stuff. This is the pre-planning stuff that you have to do now. I can tell you right now that we've got 2 of the windows secured. I mean secured. And the reason I did that, I'm trying not to go into too much detail because, OPSEC bro, but, okay, I'm trying to think of how I can tell you that, in a sense, what I did at the same time, be helpful for you. So, here's one of the things you want to do. When it comes to like fortifying windows, doors, stuff like that, okay? Don't fortify a window and a door in one part of your home and then go across the home to another part of your home and fortify a window and a door. Okay? I'm not saying don't do it at all, but what I'm getting at is you want to fortify as much in the same area as you can. Okay? So let's say you can only afford to fortify the south side of your house. One side of your house. So you do the south side of your house. What do you mean? You just leave my front door, my front... Yeah. If you've got time to fortify that later, do so. But you're going to be benefited much more by fortifying one entire side of your house than making sure that you got the front door and the back door. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you've got it fortified well enough, then you only got to focus on one of the doors. So let's say the only thing that you could do, let's break it down like this. You have a choice. You can fortify 2 doors, or you can fortify a door and 2 windows. And let's say the south side of your house just happens to have a door and 2 windows. Okay? So here's the thing. If you just fortify the front door and the back door that's on the south side of the house, and you don't fortify any windows, what you did to those doors is useless. Because they're just going to come in the window. So what you do is you fortify the south side of your house. You fortify one side of your house. That way you can fortify the other side. You let your preps fortify the one side, and you can fortify the other side. But if you put yourself in a position to where you can't really, productively fortify any of it because you've got too many holes, now you've got a problem. This is the things I'm talking about. And I know it seems a little scatterbrained and stuff like that. Again, I didn't have anything, arranged tonight for a monologue or anything. But this is some of the stuff that leading up to whatever the heck it is that's going to happen. This is some of the vital stuff. The vital stuff. We've fortified doors. We've got one side of the home's windows fortified. Okay? We've upped our game with our camera system. I'm trying to up my game with our defense. That's all you can do, is keep hitting at your individual areas and do what you can. I mean, I get, I'm not rich. I mean, I do what I can. I do what I can. It's all anyone can do. I guess let me go ahead and just get into headlines and let's see. All right, run through the normal stuff real quick. The Amazon affiliate, we are up to 94 cents. I thank those that participate in that. For those that don't know, we're an Amazon affiliate. There's a link in the description of the videos as well as at the watchmannews.com right in the top corner. It's essentially a link that takes you to Amazon with our special link, and when you make purchases, those items don't cost you anymore, but it gives us credit for the sale. It gives us a little commission for the sale, and all those little bits add up at the end of the month, and it's a nice way to help support the show. It doesn't cost you anything or anything like that, and all you have to do is click that link before you go shopping at Amazon. So it's highly, highly appreciated. Every little bit. Every little bit. We also have a Teespring store. The best way to see what we have there is go to the watchmannews.com, scroll down on the homepage. Got 4 different designs right now. I'll maybe add some later. Don't know. I'm not going to promise anything at this point. Anyway, there's 4 different designs right now. There's more than just t-shirts. There's coffee mugs. There's tote bags, all kinds of stuff. I really do want to get this. I don't even have the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot actual. I really want that shirt. One of these days, I'll be able to order one of my own shirts. Anyway, like I said, it's more than just shirts. There's coffee mugs, tote bags, all kinds of stuff. You want to see what we got? You want to help support that way? Just click on one of the images. That'll take you to Teespring and do so. Sorry, I'm scattered. And lastly, the last way that you can help support $1 million in small bills would be really cool. But if you can't do that, we also have a donate link that's in the description of the video, as well as at the watchmannews.com. Right here in the main menu, that just takes to our PayPal donate page. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can do so as a guest with a debit or a credit card. But I always let people know it says Transforming Disabilities up top, and also says Purpose of the Watchman News donation. That way you know you're in the right place. And if you happen to have $1 million in small bills, I'm kidding. All right. COVID-19 National Bing COVID Tracker. This number was just a little over 4,000 a little bit ago, and I refreshed it right before I clicked live, and it dropped down to, it's at 3685 right now. I'm going to click refresh right now, and it's still 3685. So it was at 4,000. It dropped down a little bit. We'll see what they're telling us for yesterday. They're saying yesterday new cases was 165,928. Fatal cases at 1,607. So, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to understand Common Core math no matter how much you tried to teach it to me. And that's the only thing I can come up with on those numbers. Got to be Common Core. Our zip code total confirmed is now up to 1,596. If my memory serves correct, I actually think I remember it yesterday as being 1,588. It just, that stuck in my head. So if that's correct, there's been 8 more total confirmed since yesterday. So no, I'm not trying to remember them. I'm still not writing them down, and I really don't care. I don't. Not a bit. I think I did those headlines yesterday. I don't know if I did this headline yesterday. So this was from last night. It's title, or not title, it's the headline is Everything is an Illusion, ? Nashville bomber spoke of alien attacks, 9/11, and reptilians changing human DNA in bizarre letters. And to comment on that, what can I say? Really? I mean, it would be nice if we could trust the government. It would be really nice to know that we could trust the government and say, yeah, this guy did this. But we can't. I want to put... I want you to think about this for a second, okay? Everything we do digitally on the World Wide Web is tracked, databased, recorded 24/7. You make that connection, there's a record of it. Plain and simple. Edward Snowden should have told you that. And that was how many years ago? So you're telling me that An attack happened Christmas Day. We're now, 11 days past? Or so, I think. So you can tell me that you're just now getting this information? You trying to tell me that you didn't know this that day? Or maybe the next day? The day that they took claim to identifying him? Or at least suspecting him? See, this stuff shouldn't be just coming out now. This stuff should have came out a week ago. So that's kind of my issue here. Are they just slow to release, or are they making a story? Which one is it? I don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and entertain all kinds of conspiracy theories and this and that and the other thing. I'm not going to do it because you know what? It could have been a nut job. Could have just been a nut job. But there are a lot of things that don't add up, and there are a lot of things that are suspicious, and I will say that. Might have been an alien. I don't know. Let's see. Bail him now. Roger Waters. This is also last night. Roger Waters says after judge rejects extradition for Assange and calls ruling a delaying tactic as U.S. preps appeal. Is it a delaying tactic? I don't know. He was actually, it's going to be in the headlines, he was actually told he could come back home. Not this ain't his home, but yeah, he was told he could go back home. He was told that today. It could be a delay tactic. I thought it was really interesting when the Mexican president jumped up and said, "You can come here." And I know what the Mexican president wants to do. He wants to barter Julian Assange for something. That's what the Mexican president wants to do. Without fear of death, Xi Jinping orders Chinese army to be ready to fight at any second. And we've heard this before many times, but I'm telling you, they are ramping up. They are seriously ramping up. This isn't just him telling them. Okay, they are actually taking to action. I mean, they're ramping up their drills. They're getting ready for war. That's exactly what they're doing. That should probably be an indicator. Sudden change of heart. Oh, word to this morning's news, by the way. Sorry. Sudden change of heart. New York Stock Exchange backpedals on delisting Chinese telecom giants. I don't even know. I really don't. I know I want free capitalism back. I want complete free capitalism back. Wholly, not partially. I don't think that a nation, I don't think that anybody should be able to dictate whether or not somebody else can make money or how much money they can make. I don't think that's up to anybody else. Period. Period, period, period. Maybe an exclamation mark. And I think it's ridiculous what is going on in the international market, if you will. Hey, I'm all for, and long before Trump was even thought of as a president, I was telling people the same thing Trump did, the tariffs, essentially. I'd been saying that for literal decades, not one, plural, decades, I had been saying that, man, we got to start taxing these imported goods because somebody's got to pay for all these people that are out of work because our manufacturing left. Somebody's got to throw those people a bone. And I don't think it should be the innocent taxpayer. I don't think the innocent taxpayer should be put on the hook because people are unemployed because they were, and again, I believe in free trade. Okay? But I also believe that you should be able to have a decision as to what's allowed to be sold. Right? If you own a store, nobody should be able to force you to carry a particular product in your store. Right? So I don't believe that another country should be able to force a different country to take their products. In other words, what I'm getting at is, yes, I believe in free trade. I don't believe there should be any interference with that. But when it comes to different nations, I think that they should be able to decide for themselves what it is that they'll allow to import, how much of it they'll allowed to import, and I most definitely think that they should put a tariff. Because for every person that you just paid for employment in that other country, now your taxpayers are paying for an equal person here for unemployment or welfare or whatever. Think about that. Not just a whammy, it's a double whammy. Not only does your money get sent out of the country, but then you're taxed on the things that you buy and your income and everything else, and you get to pay for the damages caused by the products that were bought from the other country. The American people are getting screwed hard. It's ridiculous. But, to go, and this is one thing, because this does involve our country, but like our interference with like Nord Stream 2 and all of that stuff, man, that's BS. That's absolute BS. If whoever, I don't know, Germany or Belgium or whoever wants to buy natural gas from Russia, why are we trying to butt in the middle of that and say, you can't? What, are we going to build a pipeline from Virginia all the way to Belgium? I'd better keep my mouth shut or else they will. E-retailers' dismissive reaction by two 22-year-old employees' death sparks outrage and debate on overwork culture in China. Oh, wow. Wasn't we just kind of talking about stuff like this? Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Britain to roll out proposals on new COVID-19 travel restrictions very shortly, says a cabinet office minister. China plays the peacemaker, urging calm and restraint following sorry guys, my head is 50% here, and that's all you're getting tonight, and I apologize for that. Let me try that again. China plays the peacemaker, urging calm and restraint following Iran's uranium enrichment announcement. Julian Assange, free to return home to Australia if extradition to the U.S. is blocked, says the Prime Minister. So, see, I guess there's still stuff that has to happen, but as long as that happens, they're welcoming back home. So hopefully that's not a trap. Hopefully that's not a setup. That's for Julian to mull over and do what he thinks is right. Britain provides £4.6 billion to help struggling businesses survive through renewed COVID-19 lockdown, while the United States paid for gender studies in Pakistan. Oh, and you got $600. You did. I didn't. I didn't. Danish kids cartoon about man with world's longest willy, yeah, you heard me right, raises eyebrows. It's fun, says creators. I've been told something very similar when I've asked people, why do you watch that crap? Speaking of crap, the particular person I'm thinking of right this second, and the particular stuff, like Adult Swim, adult cartoons, most of it is so stupid. It's beyond stupid. It's I don't even know what to call it. It's so stupid, it's disgusting. But yet, you had a whole generation that couldn't get enough of it. That's what this reminds me of. And when you ask, why would you watch that? Because to me, it's degrading. To me, when a person watches that stuff, they are degrading themselves. And, it's funny. Okay. There's a lot of things that are fun that I don't do. There's a whole lot of things that are fun that I don't do. Why? Because it's not very smart to do it. Right? Anybody ever tried cocaine? That's a lot of fun. That's a whole lot of fun. Right? I'm not going to lie and say I hadn't done it. Do I do it now? No. I hadn't seen anything like that for, God, it's been over 20 years. Easily been over 20 years. Why? Why am I not a cokehead? Because it's not a good idea. And I couldn't afford it if I thought it was. No, we've got to get a handle on this stuff, folks. Come on. We've got to get a handle on this stuff. It would be different if we had responsible parents. If we had responsible parents that actually gave enough of a damn about their kids that they wouldn't allow them to watch stuff like this, then it might be all right. But see, that's really what happened. We had controversial stuff for a long time. How long's porn video been around? We had to work hard at seeing those magazines or watching a little bit of a porn video. Right? You'd have to turn it on channel 86 on your cable TV and turn your head sideways and then play with the tuner knob to see if you could unscramble it, which you never could. But, you get what I'm getting at? You literally have some parents now that are completely okay with their kids watching stuff like that. They're young kids. And I know that's extreme. But we don't have to pull back and we don't have to talk about the extreme. Let's just look at what's on your public television, over-the-air public television every day. Look at the sex, the violence. It's disgusting. That's why I quit watching TV in 2006. It's disgusting. But we have to have self-discipline. We got to have self-responsibility and accountability. And we have to actually care more about our children than we do ourselves, our own desires, and raise them. Somebody who went to high school made a Facebook post today, and it was shocking when I read it. It was shocking when I read it. Give me a second. I've got to do this off screen because I'm not gonna out the person, but hang on. I wonder if it was removed. I would have removed it. Wouldn't have taken long for that. I think it's gone. Yeah, without a doubt, it's gone. So I can't remember verbatim what it was, but it essentially was going through the stuff that her kid had, more or less. And it was something to the effect of, I don't know, how well they were raised or whatever. And I got to thinking about it. And it talked about, the post talked about the game system they had, and everything that the post had mentioned were things that occupy the kids' time to keep them out of your hair. None of it was actually raising the child. The post had nothing to do with actually raising the child. It just had 100% to do with providing them with material things. That's not raising your child. Sorry about all the bling bling blings. That's not raising your child. Sorry, it ought to be about done with them by now. Hang on. I'm trying to put a stop to them. Make sure they can never pop up again. Not 100% sure that worked, but it was worth a shot. Okay, but yeah, just really, we got to be mindful of what we let our children see and hear. That's the other thing. The hearing. It drives me nuts when there's a car driving through town, little kids in the back seat, and there's like gangster rap playing. I have no issues with rap. I don't have any issues with any rap, especially if you're an adult, right? But some of this stuff, little kids don't need to be hearing. And where is the responsibility? If there is any hostage taking, it's Seoul. Iranian government demands $7 billion returned after seizing South Korean tanker. Let's see. Chilling big tech censorship. Let's see. Oh, yikes. Entertainment news, breaking news. I don't do entertainment here, but that's something Jen's going to want to know. Chilling big tech censorship. YouTube accused of terminating talk radio channel, allegedly for airing views of lockdown skeptics. This is crazy. Crazy. You know what? I've thought that, Daniel M., I just looked over at chat. I have thought that 1,000,001 times, brother. Bring it. I mean, that's going to really do me a number. It really is. Because, I've got a good balance of preps, technological preps, along with, good old school kind of preps. And, I would take a hard hit I would take a really hard hit with an EMP because most of it's not protected, and there's no way I can protect it. However, I am so done with this society. That would be the best thing for humanity that there could be, would be an EMP. It truly, truly would. For humanity. Let's see. Google workers unionize in historic first amid rising internal tensions between staff and management. I was kind of shocked when I saw that headline. Go Google workers. Let me make this clear, my stance here. I believe in both. I believe in union and non-union, and the reason why is because they were they kept each other in check. They were checks and balances for each other. And we no longer have that. And because we no longer have that, look at what's happening. So, yeah, I will say go Google. Cancel culture is like a medieval mob. Mr. Bean blasts the woke brigade and social media giants for increasing polarization. Mr. Bean. Qatar's ruler arrives in Saudi Arabia as U.S. defense partners take major step to reestablish relations. Iran can produce 8 to 9 kilograms of 20% enriched uranium per month. Has planned for more centrifuges to meet a 120 kilogram goal, says their nuclear chief. Man, those are fighting words, and I'm not saying I'm behind the fighting, but I don't have to be. All it takes is for someone to be. And, yeah, that was a hell of a statement. It was enough of a statement that even China came out and, had something to say. Not against Iran. We'll get to that. Hungary, newest battlefield in Western media's COVID-19 information war, is still open to Russia's Sputnik 5 jab if enough is available. Iranian forces launch large-scale drone combat drill as tensions rise in the Persian Gulf. See, they've got a lot of technology there that we're not real hip on. Seriously. Tell me how hard it is to have an underground facility and do something where nobody sees it. Not very, especially if you're a nation. So, I do expect something. Iran asks Interpol to help arrest Trump and 47 other U.S. officials over 2020 killing of General Soleimani, says a judiciary spokesman. Labor leaders, Starmer, I believe it says, calls for legislation to outlaw anti-vax campaigners and warns misinformation will cost lives. Yeah, I would say misinformation either direction. Nowhere to retreat from here. Packed crematoriums struggle to burn bodies of COVID-19 victims in Czech Republic and Slovakia. Norwegian electric vehicle sales overtake petrol and diesel models for first time, but Tesla beaten to top spot. Fiat, Chrysler, and Peugeot say yes to creating the world's fourth largest automaker in $58 billion merger. Virus-wary Vietnam suspends flights from UK and South Africa over new COVID-19 variants. Measure how far U.S. is from the South China Sea. Global Times editor shuts down Pompeo for noting China's distance from the Arctic. Sturgeon warns Trump Pardon me. Sturgeon warns Trump against any surprise golf trips to Scotland, says it's not essential under COVID rules. Conspiracy theorist pharmacist who sabotaged COVID-19 vaccines claims they're not safe for people and could change their DNA. Kind of, isn't that what it does? I mean, yes, that's what it does. That would be conspiracy fact. Ding, 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 ding. Parts of the UK could be overwhelmed by COVID-19 in 2 or 3 weeks, Liverpool mayor warns. I mean, it's like literally how it works. And when they explained how it works, they literally tell you that. It helps solve murder. Singapore government defends giving police access to COVID-19 contract tracing app data. This is an interesting article here. Cold War era Russian nuclear trains could be on track to make a return, expert says, sparking fresh fears of confrontation with the U.S. Yeah, that was a really big thing in the Cold War. They were really ramping that up, these trains. And they would have trains that would just constantly run. And it was actually part of their missile defense, but both missile offense and defense, by having these constant moving trains that were ready to go at any time. Looks like they might be doing it again. Josh Hawley slams Antifa scumbags who surrounded his home with family inside during a vigil over refusal to certify Biden win. Researchers warn of brain damage from coronavirus infection after finding stroke-like complications in COVID victims. There was a young man just here recently that had a stroke. I want to say he was from the St. Louis area. I think it was local news I saw it on. But he had a stroke as a result of COVID-19. Unexploded bombs at military site hinder Australian firefighters tackling enormous life-threatening blaze. Tory minister takes heat after praising 170-pound champagne, calling the bubbly an alternative vaccine to forget rotten 2020. Saudi Arabia and Qatar end years-long row with border reopening and resumption of ties. Well, look at that peace in the Middle East. Kiev says Belarusian KGB chief allegedly recorded plotting to blow up Ukraine-based journalist Sheremet, later killed in a car bomb. Ukrainian opposition launches petition asking Zelensky's government to register and import Russian-made COVID-19 vaccine Sputnik V. Restrict contact to absolute minimum. Merkel extends German national lockdown until at least the end of January. Trump slaps fresh sanctions on Iran during last week's in office. Tehran's steel sector and Chinese supplier targeted. Not something to brag about. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones slammed for boasting about record attendances during the pandemic. Can we do anything right? Delays, wrong accounts, unexplained changes lead to mass frustration over second U.S. stimulus checks. Wow, I can't get that headline out for nothing. It's ridiculous. It really is. First they're going to throw you a peanut, and then a lot of people are having a problem getting their peanut. Again, I don't get one. I ain't looking to get one. I would rather work if I can. I'd rather work. I'm not looking to get one. I didn't get one before. Didn't get one this time. Not going to get one. 1 in 50 people in England has COVID-19, health chief reveals, also warning of further restrictions next winter. Again, I said next winter. That's the UK, but... Los Angeles ambulance crews, stretched thin by COVID-19 surge, told not to transport patients that are expected to die. Yeah. They're told that if they don't think somebody's going to make it, let them die. Don't bring them to the hospital. That's crazy. Sooner than expected and different vaccine, Dutch PM explains Netherlands caught off guard by Pfizer jab approval amid criticism. WHO chief disappointed China still hasn't approved entry of COVID-19 experts investigating pandemic origins. Ahead of Electoral College certification, hang on. Man, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm still drinking coffee. My evening coffee, I'm still drinking it, and I'm sitting here yawning. I'm so tired, I'm just wore out. Let's see. I don't think I read all of that one. Ahead of Electoral College certification, Trump sets off critics by citing Pence's power to reject fraudulent electors. I don't know if I said it all or not. An investigation launched as 2 people die in Norway nursing home days after receiving Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. Calls for probe as Germany's apparent failure to pre-order enough vaccine sparks rift with Merkel's government coalition. Let's see. Hack of federal agencies is likely Russian in origin. You have to read the article. I'm not sure exactly which hack they're referring to be real honest. Police officer who shot Jacob Blake and left him paralyzed will not face charges. U.S. intel says fewer than 10 government agencies affected by follow on solar winds hack, likely Russian in origin. Okay, so it was the solar winds hack that they were referring to. Okay, Georgia's GOP senators join fight against Biden's victory certification, demonstrate loyalty to Trump amid runoff election. A family calls for more research after young doctor left paralyzed in wake of taking Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine in Mexico. Let's see, family video to close all stores. So if you're familiar with that video chain, that they're closing all of them. All of them. We lost ours, I don't know, probably a couple years, 2-3 years ago. The family video here in Highland closed their doors. So, out of touch with reality, Tulsi Gabbard rips fellow Democrats after Congress imposes new rules on gendered language. A Proud Boys chairman released from jail but ordered to stay away from D.C., blocking him from attending pro-Trump protests. Trump to speak at Save America rally outside White House and warns terrorist Antifa to stay out of D.C. India's emergency approval of Covaxin and AstraZeneca vaccines used vague language and lacked transparency, says health experts to RT. The World Economic Forum promotes video game that helps refugees through microtransactions, except it still doesn't exist. A risk for future generations, Peru clashes with Pfizer over Big Pharma's legal immunity for COVID-19 vaccine side effects. Let's see. And toss-up in Georgia runoffs as Republicans fight to retain slim majority in U.S. Senate. So, I don't know, folks. Continue to get ready as quick as you possibly can. Do not slow down on getting ready. Better recheck those networks. You get one shot at this. One shot. It's not a game. You don't have 3 lives and you can't put in another quarter. One shot. Just do what you can. Do what you can. I know what it's like to be limited. Do what you can. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I hope everybody has a good night. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. And I hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.